The world over, the global coronavirus pandemic has impacted lives and economic activity, the Republic of Uganda not an exception. This, like never before, called for visionary leadership as the nation dealt with not only the pandemic, but the worsening effects of climate change in addition to a locust invasion. Despite the crisis faced, government could not, however, detract from its long-term development strategy. The national budget was as scheduled, delivered on the 11th day of June 2020 by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija, under the theme Stimulating the Economy to Safeguard Livelihoods, Jobs, Businesses and Industrial Recovery. Substantial progress has been made with agricultural production. In particular, coffee production increased from 5.7 million 60 kilogram bags to 7 million bags between 2017 and 2019. Fish catches have also grown from 391,000 metric tons to 561,000 metric tons between 2017 and 2019 as a result of the strict enforcement of fisheries regulations and addressing challenges of poor quality fingerlings and limited access to feeds. The coronavirus pandemic, however, has brought to the forefront the need to ensure adequate food security and nutrition. To improve the well-being of Ugandans, 14 products have been identified by His Excellency the President and will be developed commercially. These include maize, cassava, banana, beans, Irish potato, sweet potato, millet, sugarcane, cattle for beef, dairy, coffee, tea, cocoa, and fish. To curb the immediate adverse effects of the emergencies recently faced, increasing agricultural production is a sure way to improve household incomes and create more jobs. Government will therefore enhance the provision of improved agricultural inputs using NAD's e-voucher scheme to farmers and upscaling agriculture extension services to boost production of key agricultural commodities. Provide rainwater harvesting technologies in rural communities, implement solar irrigation schemes, and invest in the construction of multi-purpose water reservoirs. And finally, provide seed capital to organized special interest groups under the Youth Fund, Women Entrepreneurship Fund, and the Emioga Talent Support Scheme. Access to safe water in rural areas today is at 69%, with 38,500 villages representing 66% of the total 58,000 villages in the country having been provided with clean water. Access to safe water in urban areas stands at 79% compared to 77% in 2015, with the piped water main network increasing from 17,600 kilometers to 20,200 kilometers. Over 66,000 new customers were connected during the year, bringing the total number of connections to over 720,000. Rural sanitation coverage is at 79%, while sanitation in urban areas increased to 87%. In the next financial year, in order to ensure universal access to safe and clean water and improved sanitation, government will consolidate and build on past achievements that include 1. Construction of 9 gravity flow systems, 40 solar-powered water supply systems, and drilling of 445 water wells. 2. Construction of 30 water supply and sanitation systems, development of bulk water transfer master plans, and designing 15 water supply and sanitation systems. 3. Construction of small-scale solar power irrigation schemes. 4. Intensifying the monitoring and forecasting of weather and water levels, floods, and effectively disseminating information to guide policy actions by stakeholders. And finally, 5. Enforcement of environment protection regulations for settlements on lakeshores, riverbanks, wetlands, forests, and flood-prone areas. The nation's infrastructure such as roads, rail, water, irrigation and air transport remains key to economic recovery and boosting economic transformation. As such, Uganda's economic infrastructure now stands as follows. Electricity generation capacity now stands at 1,254 megawatts, with the completion of the 42 megawatt Agago Achwa 2, the 76 megawatt Chambura, and the 5.9 megawatt Ndugu 2 power projects. The 183 megawatt Isimba power project and its transmission lines was commissioned, and the 600 megawatt Karuma power project is 98% complete and is due for commissioning in November 2020. The Karuma-Kawanda transmission line is also 82% complete. Construction of Nyagak 3 power project also resumed in May of 2019. The electrification of industrial parks has also progressed with the commissioning of the Mukono and Iganga Industrial Park substations. Under the Rural Electrification Program, 14,820 kilometers of medium voltage power lines and 10,280 kilometers of low voltage distribution power lines have been constructed. Following the launch of the Free Electricity Connections Policy in November 2018, 277,500 rural households have been connected, with a target to connect 300,000 rural households annually. Transport infrastructure has improved significantly, with the stock of the paved national road network today totaling 5,600 kilometers. The meter gauge railway network is under rehabilitation. The railway currently facilitates transportation of 18,000 tons of cargo monthly and 2,000 passengers daily in order to support decongestion in Greater Kampala. In the air transport sector, 13 aerodromes have been rehabilitated countrywide, and the expansion of the Entebbe International and the construction of Kabale International airports continues. Uganda Airlines, the national airline, was revived and began operations in August of 2019. Under ICT, internet users have increased from 7.5 million in 2016 to 11 million in March of 2020. Total telephone subscriptions, of which mobile connections constitute 60%, increased from 21 million to 28 million in the last 4 years. The value of mobile money transactions increased from 3.4 trillion to 7.2 trillion in the last 4 years. The national backbone infrastructure now covers 49 districts, 480 ministries, agencies and local governments, and 7 border posts. The monthly average unit cost of internet bandwidth for 1 megabyte per second on the backbone has reduced from $300 to $70. The 500-seater ICT Innovation Hub at Nakawa is now also complete. To develop e-solutions, 172 ICT innovators were supported under the National ICT Initiatives Program, NISP. In the science, technology and innovation sector, the Machining, Manufacturing and Industrial Skills Training Center at Namamve was commissioned in January 2020 and will provide industrial skills training and apprenticeship and manufacture high-quality precision machine parts and accessories. The first phase of the construction of the Kira-Veco plant at the Jinja Industrial Park is halfway completed, and 2 Kayola electric buses have since been developed, assembled and tested under a technology transfer project with China High-Tech Corporation. To improve urban security, Phase 1 of the Safe City CCTV project was rolled out in Kampala Metropolitan, Wakiso, Mukono and Entebbe. Crime surveillance has also been enhanced with the deployment of LDUs across the country. The Uganda Police Force has also conducted electronic profiling of guns, which will help to curb gun-related crimes. Subsequently, crime levels have reduced by 9.8% from 238,746 cases reported in 2018 to 215,224 cases in 2019. To increase access to justice, government has established one-stop justice law and order sector centers, each consisting of a court, police services, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions DPP, prison reception centers, probation and community services in 84 districts across the country. In addition, plea bargaining has been instituted to decongest court and improve court efficiency. Consequently, cases aged over 3 years have reduced from 24% in 2017 to 17% in 2019. Construction of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal will continue and will eventually address housing of these important courts of appeal. Government will further strengthen the capability of the Uganda People's Defence Forces and enhance the effectiveness of the intelligence apparatus while constructing an additional 5 one-stop justice law and order service centers across the country to further improve the justice system. Border control will be improved through phased implementation of border point automation to control illegal entry, improved compliance with immigration laws and regulations to ensure national security. To improve public service delivery, e-visa and work permit systems and the integrated border management system is now operational at 11 border posts. As a direct result, average monthly visa applications have increased from 4,500 applications in 2016 to 12,700 applications in 2019. Electronic passports have been integrated with the National Identification and Registration Agency NIRA register, leading to a reduction in passport issuance from 10 working days in 2016 to 4 working days to date. In the health sector, in order to promote health for all Ugandans, government will continue to strengthen health systems. As a result, health spending has been increased. Government has prioritized the purchase of personal protective equipment (PPE), while additional funding has been provided to increase intensive care beds at national and regional referral hospitals. Funding has also been availed to procure test kits and other materials in order to curb the spread of the coronavirus and ensure readiness for possible secondary waves of infections should they occur. Mass sensitization and awareness on immunization will be undertaken to prevent malaria, HIV/AIDS, and the prevention and management of non-communicable diseases (NCD). In addition, Centers of Excellence for Delivery of Specialized Medical Care will continue with completion of the construction of the Uganda Heart Institute, establishment of centers for cancer treatment at regional referral hospitals, commissioning the Regional Hospital of Pediatric Surgery at Entebbe, and fast-tracking construction of the International Specialized Hospital of Uganda at Lubowa. Furthermore, the supply chain for medicines and medical supplies manufactured in Uganda will be strengthened to improve the availability of medicines and ensure the subsequent accountability thereof. Further still, government will ensure Health Center 3s are functional with health workers, basic medical equipment, supplies, and medicines. Currently, the total number of functional Health Center 3s is 1,327, while 41 Health Center 2s are being upgraded to Health Center 3s in the next financial year. In the aftermath of the recent emergencies, Uganda's vulnerable population will require protection. Government will therefore prioritize targeted support to the most vulnerable groups and those at higher risks of food insecurity. Government will continue to provide relief aid, allowing for the rehabilitation of adversely affected schools, health units, water points, and other social infrastructure, and provide relief for vulnerable households affected. Education remains central to the development of Uganda's human capital. Previously, the literacy rate of Ugandans increased to 74% of all adults in 2018, compared to 72% in 2014. In order to further improve effectiveness in the delivery of education in the next financial year, government will roll out the new education curriculum, including early childhood development curriculum. Government will also expand access to vocational education and training, including international accreditation of business, technical, and vocational education and training (BTVET) institutions as centers of excellence. Government will also improve the quality of tertiary education institutions by ensuring their adequate staffing and increasing the emphasis on academic research. Government will further enhance teaching supervision using digital platforms in the inspection of schools through scaling up of the integrated inspection system and develop the provision of lessons through digital platforms to ensure continuous learning and implement the electronic delivery mode in validation and distribution of self-learning materials to learners. The backbone of Uganda's economy is micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, which account for 85% employment in the private sector. To improve the availability of investment finance and the cash flows of micro, small and medium enterprises and other manufacturing firms, government will 1. Provide credit through circles and microfinance institutions to support micro and small-scale enterprises. 2. Increase access to credit at Uganda Development Bank to offer low-interest financing to manufacturing, agribusiness and other private sector firms. 3. Increase funding to Uganda Development Corporation for public-private partnership investments to facilitate import substitution and export promotion strategy. 4. Provide for banks to restructure loans to their borrowers who are facing liquidity constraints and provide additional liquidity on a case-by-case basis as guided by the Bank of Uganda. 5. Reduce charges on mobile banking and mobile money transactions to improve efficiency and reduce person-to-person contact. And 6. Expedite the payment of arrears owed by government to private sector firms commencing July 2020 to address liquidity constraints faced by suppliers of government, priority being given to small and medium enterprises, cooperative societies, and contractors. This financial year, a number of tax relief measures have been proposed to further address the short-term emergency liquidity requirements of businesses to boost their cash flows and ensure business continuity. To ensure that public debt remains sustainable, government will implement the Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy to increase government's capacity to finance programs with less reliance on domestic and external borrowing. Despite the recent turn of events, Uganda's economic outlook remains positive. Government is optimistic that the budget for the financial year 2020-2021 will not only enable the economy to fully recover, but will also harness the potential Uganda has as a nation, setting the nation back on track. With an emphasis on supporting livelihoods and the recovery of business enterprises without losing focus on the long-term development initiatives, government will support the private sector to scale up production, sustainability, and increased employment.